In this podcast interview, I'm going to talk about three things. Number one is how I went from not knowing which career to choose to reaching a point where I found my calling, found my passion, and found my dream career. You're going to learn from my real life story. Number two, I'm going to talk about what are the two skills that you youngsters must master. It's a non-negotiable. Number three, I'm going to talk about my role models, and in the end, I'm going to tell you how I can help you in mastering those two skills. Watch and learn and succeed.
Someone who has been a coach, soft skill and behavioral trainer, and a motivational speaker who has trained more than 10,000 people from 30 different cities in India and 4 different countries. And today he's on a mission to change the way we look around, to change the way how the society functions. And he's training young kids to look up to be leaders in themselves. And the guest for today's show is Amit Dubey, and you're on the Bernardisa Talk Show.
Very happy to be here, and thank you so much for the sweet introduction.
All right. Amit, I have gone through a profile. I must say that it's really inspiring to see someone of your caliber coming out in public, training these newbies, training these youngsters, and, making them feel worthy of themselves. So my first question that's for you is, why did you choose training and coaching?
So, Bernard, that's a very good question, and thank you for asking that. Well, when I started off, I'll be very honest, 100% honest, that I didn't even know that something like this existed. But I didn't know my skills and my strengths and what is it that I'm good at. But what I didn't know was what is that job profile and what is that industry where I could apply my skill sets and be happy doing that. So I did something I feel which a lot of people don't do. So which is why when we, counsel people on, when they choose their careers. So when we do career counseling, not just for youngsters, but also for people, say in their 30s and they want to switch, that's when the experience that I had really helps. So what I did was, which people really find daunting, is I didn't stop myself from experimenting in the sense that I knew my skill sets and I was looking, for the right role, where I could execute these. So for that, I did multiple jobs and I kept switching jobs. Now it might sound very funny, but it really worked for me. I changed multiple job profiles and I was waiting to find that one job profile where I would just, happily apply the skills that I'm good at. Something that would give me job satisfaction, something that would not sound like work to me, something that could, I would just do happily with a smile on my face, even if I'm doing it for like 24 hours straight. So I did multiple. I worked in HR, I worked in advertising, I worked in media, I worked in a lot of things, lot of industries. And then I think after 1.5 or 2 years of experiment, I got into training. Now, when I got into training, after my first assignment, I understood that this is my calling. I'll quickly tell you. So my first training assignment when I got into training was that I had to train MD of a company, a young chap about 28, 29 back in those days. And he was going to Poland to represent India. Now, I had to train him in the sense that now he's representing India, so his company wants him to be perfect, right? So then I my job role was to train him in the areas like public speaking, just take care of his vocabulary, and the English, and his voice modulation, and his presentation skills, and his communication skills. So like a whole complete package. So he went there, and it went really well. And then when he came back, he told me, Amit, why don't you start training my staff? Then I was like, that was like my aha moment. And I was like, yes, that's when I realized this is what I'm good at. Because I'm enjoying doing it, but at the same time, I'm getting great response from the people. And then, then I kept doing it where, I had those sessions where people would, have tears in their eyes, or somebody would, come and hug me, and youngsters would come and touch my feet. And that is when I realized that, Amit Dubey, you found your vocation. So I'm sure, but a lot of people don't, that there's a difference between a vocation and a profession. So profession is what you do for living. So example, if I code, I get money for it. So I work 8 hours, I get money for it. So that is my profession. But vocation is when you know that you are born for this. Vocation is you know that this is your calling. Vocation is you know, this will make me happy. This job, doing this thing will make you happy. So and
Right.
then I did it, and then rest is a history. I've been doing it for 7 years. But I am
Right.
if whoever's listening, especially youngsters, if you guys are listening, that you guys must not stop experimenting. If you have, like Steve Jobs said, if you haven't found what you love doing, keep looking. Because had I stopped back then, yes, people were laughing at me because my friends were growing, they were making more money, they were traveling, they were having fun, they had bigger bank balance. For me, I was stuck, because I was still trying to figure out what is it that I could do and enjoy, and what is it that I could do to make my living and be happy doing it. So, but then I didn't stop. That people back then said that, Amit, you are wasting time. Now, when I look back, I say that the 1.5 years of experimentation, I feel that was the best thing that I did. That was the best decision I took, because of which I am where I am today. So I'm very happy with the choice that I made back then.
Right. After all, we are just a product of our choices, right?
Well said. Well said. I did have people laughing at me, friends laughing at me. My father didn't speak to me for quite some time. He's like, "Why are you leaving a job? You're getting paid well." But it's just that I wasn't happy doing it, so I kept seeking, and God said, "Okay, this is your thing, and I'll give it to you because you worked hard for it." So
And Amit, I've also heard that you have been coaching these young kids, young people out there, and you also make those small motivational videos, short motivational videos for these kids. I want to know, how does that work? Like, how are you training them with those? How are you coaching them?
yes. So the best part about my job is I get to train people from all industries and sectors and professions. So doctors, engineers, actors, dietitians, and I mean it just MDs of companies and vice presidents, and then again college students, and then homemakers, teachers, principals, so on and so forth. But yes, I do have soft corners for these youngsters, because maybe I think that I want to give youngsters what I didn't get back then. So, what youngsters these days need is guidance for sure. They need like a good leader who can guide them, and at the same time, they want someone to give them confidence that you do this, I'm standing behind you.
Right.
So yeah, so a lot of people, my friends tell me, you do these videos. What's the whole idea, Amit? Are you doing it for views? You're doing it for money? I said, you know what? If one person sees the video and it connects with him, and if it helps him or her think better, feel better, or give them him or her any guidance, or gives them hope, then my job of making that video is done. So idea was never to make money, or or to have views. I mean, if it comes, great. But the whole idea from beginning of making these videos is to constantly keep them in the right direction, and to keep guiding them and keep them focused. And indirectly, through these videos, I guide them and I coach them, and I'm virtually with them. So it helps. Plus, I get a lot of comments from a lot of people saying thank you. So I think that gives me a bigger motivation than I think I would get. I mean, these compliments and these comments that I get from people, I think this is of more value than maybe earning 1,000 rupees from one video. So that's one thing, that is the reason why I make videos. But other than that, because I've been training so many people, I've realized what a lot of people, especially youngsters, lack. And I'm going to be very honest about it. Now, not many people understand this, or even if they do, they've never been conscious about it. Now, two things I feel that, Bernard, I think youngsters must learn, and it's a prerequisite, non-negotiable. Number one is that they need, especially in this high competitive market, they need to master selling skills. Now, they might be thinking, "Arey yaar, why selling skills? I'm not going to be a sales professional." But here's the thing: you go for an interview. That is when you're selling your skills to them. Now, when you learn selling skills, you master communicate. So everything, communication, your body language, your voice modulation, your speaking skills, your convincing skills, persuasiveness, storytelling skills, all objection handling, failure handling, all these things come under selling skills. So if they can learn this, not just for interviews, but let's say they open a business, they would need investors. How would they sell their idea? They need selling skills. How would they convince their customers? They would need selling skills. You want to propose an idea to your company. How do you do that? You need selling skills. You want to propose a girl or a guy, you need selling skills. So my point is, no matter where you go, what you do, regardless of your profession, you need selling skills. And second one is equally important, if not more, Bernard. I honestly feel that youngsters these days do not know to keep a balance, when it comes to their thoughts and their emotions. And they are a lot of people, not just youngsters, are they're not happy. They're not sad because of the things around them. They are unhappy because what's happening in their mind. They're not able to, so I'll tell you, youngsters these days, they overthink a lot. They get into depression a lot. They feel low very often. They get bogged down by failure. They get disappointed. They get hurt. They get, they become sensitive. So, and they give up very soon. So that all these things, if you can learn to take care of your mind and your thoughts and your emotions, I think they will be a different level altogether. And this is one of the reasons why I admire Mahendra Singh Dhoni, is because he's reached that level where he's in absolute control of his thoughts and his emotions.
Right. And what you said, totally agree with that, because at the end of the day, we have to have, a control on ourselves so that we can present ourselves better. Going through all these, your life, going through all your life, seeing struggles, seeing people. Do you have any idols or someone that inspires you that, okay, fine, I'm looking at him, I should do something, like you gave an example of Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Every time there's a hurdle, this guy comes up. Every time he falls, he stands up. So is there anyone like him who inspires you a lot?
Yes. So one, I would just take the liberty to say that I think my background is my inspiration. People around me have been my inspiration. So I'll tell you, I have my entire family, other than my father and me, is into Indian Air Force. So I grew up with my, I was from my childhood, I was with my grandfather, who retired as a flying officer and president awarded him of India. And when I was growing up, I would see fighter planes here and there. I would see our flag, and I would see parades, and those 26 January parades. And we were taught that put nation first before you, put other people first before you, serve country, serve people, take care of people. So I think these things have helped me a lot. And now when I look back, I can coach people, I feel, only because I put them first over my interests. I put their interests over me. And as a result, I'm able to empathize, connect, and care more. But if I put myself and my monetary gains first over them, then I think I'm just like everybody else around. So what makes me different? I think my background, the people, and my upbringing has a lot. So I think my inspiration is my family for sure. Yeah, my grandparents, the way they raised me. My mother, she teaches still, a lot of things about humanity and taking care of people. So these people, yes, for sure. Other than that, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, but there are two people. One is a real life, and the other is real life. Real life, I would say Ratan Tata. I think all of us, Indians and people abroad, they admire him because the kind of person that he is. True patriot. He helps, and whenever our country is in need, he's there. Very humble, absolutely, really humble. So I just love him. I've told my friend that she used to work for an airline. So I used to tell her that, now she doesn't, but when she did, I would tell her that, please, whenever he comes in, just tell me, I'll go there and meet him, even if for 2 minutes, I'll just touch his feet and just seek his blessings, because he's an amazing person. And I do wish to meet him, once in my lifetime. And the last one is, there's this character, in a series called Suits. His name is Harvey Specter, very well known. I just admire, he's real, fictitious character, but if you haven't watched, you must. I just admire him. In fact, I think 5, 6 years ago, when I had, I think, seen the first season of that, in fact, I started copying him back then. That was very kiddish, but it helped me a lot in terms of confidence. I mean, this guy is, a lot of things to learn from him. So I think these are a few people. And obviously, I mentioned Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So yeah.
Right. Well, Amit, thank you so much for taking out your time and being here for this show.
Yeah.
Right. And dear listeners, if you have any queries, or you could just drop me a text or tweet, and I know that Amit would be really happy to answer to all your queries.
With pleasure, with pleasure. And everybody listening, I want to tell you something very important. Obviously, feel free to connect. You can see all my videos and they will be really helpful for you. And I'm sure Bernard will put the link somewhere in the description of my social media pages. But I want to tell you something very important, guys. If you are struggling, say in your career, if you're struggling in your performance when it comes to career, if you're struggling to take care of emotions, if you lost confidence, lost your self-esteem, then you must join our program called Lift Me Up. It is one of the best coaching programs around. It will really help you. Number two is, like I said, selling skills is a prerequisite, non-negotiable, guys. You want to master selling skills, I want to help you. If you really want to learn it, I want to help you. Look, buying fancy phones or these cars will make you feel better only for some time. But if you can learn these things, you can buy, I don't know, 10,000 such fancy phones, and learning these things can really change your life upside down, and it can give you an edge over 10,000 people very easily. So I think this is going to be one of the most you guys can ever make. I want you to start working on it. If not from me, then do it from somewhere else, but you must work on it.
But you must do it. That like what I say. You must write a book. You don't publish it with me, not a problem, but you must write and get a book published.
Perfect.
All right then, Amit. It was nice having you on the show and nice chatting with you. Thank you so much.
Berna, thank you so much for having me, and you have a beautiful evening. And guys, thank you so much for your time and attention, and hopefully we'll connect. Take care of yourself.